Here we go. Boom, look at that. Wow. This one comes at a little bit of a cost right there with just kind of beating up your index finger a little bit. You get used to it over time. Should I get the PM2 versus the Para 3? And to be honest with you, I was in that debate for about a week, probably a week and a half, just thinking, researching, going back and forth. So much so that I ended up getting 2 other Spyderco knives, right? Hello and what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Miguel EDC. Hope you guys are having a fantabulous day. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Spyderco Para 3. Yeah, this little guy right here, of course. You saw it coming in the channel, did an unboxing on this guy a while back. So yeah, if you prioritize your lanyard, and I've had the chance, the opportunity to EDC this guy like crazy over the last couple of months, and finally we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be doing a very comprehensive review on this guy. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So what do we got going on for this guy? Of course, we have the satin finish flat grind. We're gonna talk more about that later on. The steel is the CPM S30V VN going on. We got the camo G10 scales on this guy, and this guy has the, of course, the infamous Spidey hole right here, so it allows you to reverse flick it all day, every day, over and over and over again. It's probably the most satisfying way to deploy this guy. Of course, you could thumb deploy as well, right? Not as satisfying in my opinion, but you can, right? That's another deployment option. And this guy is rocking the compression lock, just like the PM2 that we reviewed on the channel 2 days ago, right? This guy is going to be rocking the compression lock, so you could also sort of deploy, right? Open and close like that as well. All right, so you got at least 3 different ways to open and close this guy, right? With a compression lock, with your thumb, with your reverse flick, right? All right, as far as the ergos on this guy, right, check this out, right? Ergos are super good. Just like the PM2, right, you can expect something very similar, right? Of course, it's a smaller handle, but check it out. I have medium hands. You know, they're not the large hands by any means, but you have this much of the handle still left right here, which is good. Still feels nice and comfortable on the hand. You have this portion right here, this finger choil here allows you to forward choke here if you want to, the same as the PM2. So I'm glad that that was not compromised in shrinking the design. And you have the finger, right, the thumb jimping right here, right? That's going to be really good for really making those precise cuts, right? That's very nice as part of the blade, and also part of it is on the liners as well. So it really gives you good grip all the way around right there. Check out the blade alignment right there. That is smack in the middle, right? No concerns right there. It hasn't moved one bit either way, right? You guys be the judge of that. And as far as the blade goes, that thing is rock solid. That is a 10 out of 10 right there. That is not going anywhere. Of course, you got the G10 handles. I was so tempted to get the camo on the PM2, but at last minute I decided to get it on the Para 3. Don't ask me why, but I'm so happy that I did it because I love this guy in this configuration. So we have G10 scales and we have liners that are milled, right? More milled on one side than the other, as you can see there. Of course, you have to do the customary paper cutting test here. Of course, this guy has been EDC'd for so long, a couple of months at least, and I've had this guy for a while, has done all kinds of different tasks. Let's see how much of an edge it has to retain. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the performance on this guy is outstanding in typical Spyderco fashion, so you guys be the judge of that. Let me know on a scale from 1 to 10 how sharp this guy is. Without further ado, here we go. Boom, look at that. Wow. All right, caught a little bit right there for a second. It really depends. You want to make sure, right, be very careful here with the non-existing sharpening choil, right? And as long as it doesn't catch on that, you should be all right. Oh, look at that. Boom. All right, caught there a little bit, right? Still getting some good solid cuts in. No doubt about that. Caught on that one a bit. I mentioned this during the PM2 review, and I'll mention it here again. At the very beginning, when I first got into knives around October of last year, Spydercos would have never been anywhere in my radar whatsoever. I'm not lying to you. And I think that's pretty much most people's impression of Spyderco at the beginning. Somebody might argue that they just look ugly, right? And I was in that crowd at the very beginning. You know, for lack of a better word, it looks like a dead bird, right? As Metal Complex will say. And yeah, with that dead bird design, so to speak, it sort of has to grow on you. It has to grow on you in order for you to really like it, in order for you to really enjoy carrying carrying this guy. Now I kind of put myself out of my comfort zone. I said, well, let me give it a try. Let me just test it. Let me just see what this guy is going to be all about. And surely enough, I'm so happy that I did. So much so that I ended up getting 2 other Spyderco knives, right? And we'll probably leave these 2 here in frame, you know, since we're talking Spyderco here for a second. But yeah, so much so I like Spyderco so much, I went ahead and yeah, I got me some more because I just couldn't get enough. I started with the PM2. That's why the review on that's already done, right? Then I got me the Para 3 next, and I really enjoyed EDCing this guy. And by the way, right now I'm EDCing the smock, so the review is going to be live in the channel here very, very soon. Subscribe, like, and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for that. But I mean, yeah, even though at the beginning I didn't like Spyderco's, right? Once you kind of learn why the design is the way it is, how much they focus on ergonomics, it's pretty much a blade that can do just about anything, right? There's no compromises with this blade whatsoever. Forward cuts, reverse cuts, all kinds of cuts, you know, ergonomically speaking, is a dream. Yeah, you sort of, you know, inevitably fall in love with it. And of course, it is your money. So if you do buy a knife, my recommendation is, you know, test it out. Give it the benefit of the doubt, which is what I did with this guy. And if you end up not liking it, of course, you can always return it. But I can probably guarantee at some point, I mean, probably sooner than you think, you'll fall in love with it. I also pointed this out on the PM2 review. And that is the fact that with the compression lock, right, your index finger is going to take a bit of a beating. And just like I said on the other review, guys, I'm not saying that to be a baby or anything. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So by now I have gotten used to it, but just know that, yeah, that's really what it's going to take. It's going to take for you to get a little bit getting used to, because pushing this liner piece over to the left, especially if you do it, you know, a couple of times, I'm under the thinking that, you know, a knife, you know, should be a little bit fidgety as well. I mean, if you're going to EDC a knife and you're going to pay the money that you pay for this guy and the money that you pay for some of the more premium knives, should be some fidgetability to it, right? This one comes at a little bit of a cost right there with just kind of beating up your index finger a little bit. You get used to it over time, so you know that should be okay. Now, one variant to that, which you could do is, in order to avoid using your index finger or to give your index finger a break, you could just deploy with either thumb or reverse flick, and then always close it with your thumb instead. So grab it like this, right? Push with your thumb, and then the blade is gonna drop on your index like that, but see your fingers nowhere near the blade, like I mentioned earlier, right? So do it that way instead, you should be okay. And you know, after all, it is a tool, so you're not gonna sit there and open it, right, 100 million times back to back. I know some of us, myself included, would, just because, right? We're trying to break it in, right? Really trying to enjoy the action. That to me is one of the highlights to the knives that I EDC pretty much throughout the day. So I'll sit there and just fidget with it, just play with it over and over and over again. All right, guys, so in conclusion, right, if you're gonna get this guy, if you're considering getting this guy, by the way, these are USA made knives, so you know they have some of the best quality, second only to the Taichung factory, which, by the way, this Spyderco smock is from Taichung, right? So they have a factory also in Taiwan, in Taichung right there, so the quality on this guy is also very, very good. Of course, these are made in good old US of A, and we know we love our homemade knives, right? And yeah, Golden, Colorado, USA Earth, can't go wrong with this guy. Again, I always say give a knife the benefit of the doubt, right? It may just grow on you. It might become one of your favorite knives. And this is what's going on here, right? This guy is easily on my probably top 10, if not top 5, right? Along with the PM2. And honestly, the biggest debate has always been, or will always be, and this could be a whole separate video right here, should I get the PM2 versus the Para 3? And to be honest with you, I was in that debate for about a week, probably a week and a half, just thinking, researching, going back and forth. Should I get the PM2? Should I get the Para 3? I did that for so long until I came to the point of, hey, I'm gonna buy both, right? I'm gonna EDC both and see which one I end up liking the most. Well, guess what? I ended up liking both, right? I like the PM2 for what it is. It's a much longer blade, right? It has some applications to it, which there are days where I like to carry my PM2 over my Para 3, and there are other days where I simply just, you know, I like how small and friendly the Para 3 is, right? So it's a lot more, it's lighter, right? Without having to go with the FRN scales. We still got the grippy G10 going on, and you know, the Para 3 just checks some other boxes for me. So I ended up just, again, liking both, and they are both very important in my whole EDC knife arsenal. And I would recommend the same for you, right? It's just, if you are more of a smaller knife sort of gal or boy or man or brother, man or woman, right? There you go. Go with the smaller one, right? If you want a little bit more of cutting edge, a longer blade, don't mind the extra weight, right? The extra size, go with the PM2. But ultimately, the answer is you're probably going to want both, right? Now, some people specialize, their collections all about PM2s, or their collections all about Para 3s. They always argue one versus the other. Like, come on, you know, they're brothers, right? I got a special place in my heart for each of them individually, for what they are, for what they bring to the table. And of course, Spyderco is that company just you can't go wrong with. It's just such a great company. They have been around for a while. If you want to do some research on Spyderco, I recommend you do so, because they have been around for a while. Father and son, just kind of getting the company up from the ground up. It's just an awesome story, right? Look into that if you have some extra time. It's a really good story to learn from. It's very inspiring as well, of course. But that's been it, guys. Hopefully I've been able to provide you with some valuable feedback. Hopefully I've been able to sort of educate you a little bit, or share some very important pieces of feedback that will allow you to either make your purchasing decision, or sort of further approve your recent purchase. If you recently got one of these, right, either PM2 or Para 3, right, you know you got yourself there a rock solid EDC knife for a long time to come. That being said, guys, if you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys are the real MVPs. By the way, chances are by the time you're watching this video, the review for the Spyderco Smock, this Savage right here, is probably live in the channel. I'll put a card right here for your convenience if you want to check this guy out. This is another solid EDC with a flipper, right? So probably what the PM2 and Para 3 are missing is this flipper right here. So I'll talk more about that during that review, but it's been an awesome experience to EDC. Thank you guys for making it this far. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Peace.